I took Jay-Z and shopped him to every single label, and they all said no. I wouldn't have been so generous with Jay. It was more friendship for me and money for him. But he did things that I thought he would never do. So now I would be like, oh, he would do that, and I would make sure it didn't happen.
Jay-Z and Damon Dash's history goes way back, when the two of them used their expertise to run Rockefeller. Jay-Z was the face of the company, while Damon was the brain behind the business deals. Things were lovely between the two men, that is, until both of them fell for the same woman. Whether you're the best of friends or strangers, you know how this story ends. The two stars fell out soon after, but what exactly went down between the two of them remained a mystery until now. Now Damon has come forward with the truth, and Jay-Z has no option but to explain why he did what he did to his once friend and business partner. What happened between the two men that resulted in their falling out? And why is Damon coming forward now? Let's find out. Damon Dash's shocking accusation.
Jay told you that.
He said, yeah, I want to be looked at as a businessman, and as long as you're around, I can't be looked at as a businessman. But I was like, what's that got to do with Rockefeller?
Recently, Dash made an appearance on Tony the Closer Robinson's Get Yo Ass Up podcast, and trust me, he did not hold back. In this episode, Dash dives deep into the world of entrepreneurship, sharing valuable tips and hard-earned wisdom on how to succeed in business and life. But that's not all. He also opened up about a topic that's had hip-hop fans buzzing for years: his fallout with Jay-Z. During the podcast, Dash doesn't just spill the tea, he pours the whole kettle. Damon Dash and Jay-Z, the ultimate power duo, co-found Rockefeller Records and give us some of the greatest hip-hop tracks ever. Their partnership gave us some of the greatest hip-hop tracks and albums ever. They were like Batman and Robin, but with more bling and beats. However, things took a dramatic turn, and their relationship crumbled in what Dash describes as a betrayal. Now, Dash isn't just pointing fingers here. He admits he made some mistakes and didn't handle things perfectly. We're talking about real talk from a guy who's seen it all. But the kicker? According to Dash, their epic fallout boiled down to one thing: money. Yep, the green stuff that makes the world go round. Yeah, all that, but we were friends. How would you feel if your brother betrayed you for money? Would it hurt? That's the algorithm. It wasn't surprising because that's what always happens. It was surprising because that's what it was. We were breaking the algorithm. We were doing it a different way and sticking together, but that's what always happens. They make one sell out the other, their friend, divide and conquer. That's a normal story. Damon says Jay-Z's betrayal was nothing out of the ordinary, as this is who he is, someone who would lie and betray anyone for the sake of money. I mean, everybody knows Jay ain't expletive. Everyone knows that. Listen, if you ask anyone in the industry, it's a common knowledge that Jay ain't expletive. He's about the bag. We all know that. He's self-preserving, period. It's just that the people he does it to don't have Beyonce next to him. They don't have that kind of power. Rockefeller history. For Damon Dash, Rockefeller wasn't just a label. It was his life's work, his baby. Damon had poured his heart and soul into building this empire, and he had no plans of going anywhere. In his ease, everything was golden. Jay-Z was cranking out hit after hit, and Damon was the mastermind behind the scenes, handling contracts and business deals. It seemed like they had the perfect formula for success and a partnership that could last for decades. What was even more surprising was that every major label had previously rejected Jay-Z. That Damon believed they were in it for the long haul.
I had to do it myself.
Why did they say no?
Either he was too old, he rapped too fast, they just didn't have it. So we were like, we'll do it ourselves.
Conquering the hip-hop world together. He envisioned Rockefeller as a dynasty, with Jay-Z as the musical genius and himself as the business mogul. They were the ultimate dream team, and Damon thought their collaboration would stand the test of time.
The reason why Rockefeller was good, the reason why I did what I had to do, was because I knew how to have a clear dream without anyone obstructing it. I knew how to visualize winning. So if somebody told me, you can't do that because of this, get out my dream.
After renewing their Def Jam contracts in 2004 for a whopping $20 million, a massive jump from their original 1997 deal, Damon Dash couldn't imagine life without Rockefeller. In an MTV interview, Dame's remarks made it clear that he saw the label as his life's work and couldn't envision a future without it. All that is paperwork. We'll never break up. It's Rockefeller for life. I would never pass the torch or leave any of my artists. I look at them like my family, almost like my children. I would never leave them with anybody else. Who else could run Rockefeller but me? But as we all know, the music industry is full of surprises. Despite Damon's optimism, things started to unravel. Jay-Z's move to Def Jam and the eventual sale of Rockefeller Records changed everything. Damon was blindsided, feeling like the ground had been ripped out from under him. This was huge. But things were about to get even crazier. Jay-Z accepted an offer to become president of Def Jam, and with that title, he took control of Rockefeller. Damon did everything he could to make things remain the way they were. He even begged Jay to leave the name of the company. At a certain point, I got ready to depend on my other artists. I started putting together an army: Kanye, Cameron, Beanie, the Diplomats. I figured Jay gave me time to prepare. Go ahead and take the money and the job, but don't take the name. Don't take Rockefeller with you. I didn't say please, but I might as well have. As their success skyrocketed, so did the pressures and their differing visions for the future. Jay-Z's move to take over as president of Def Jam and the sale of Rockefeller to Def Jam were game changers. These power moves left Dash feeling sidelined, and we're not surprised. Imagine your best friend not only taking control of the empire you built together, but also pushing you out and leaving you stranded. Damon was shocked, to say the least, emphasizing that he and Jay-Z were close friends who had never argued before. Damon Dash admitted he was completely caught off guard by the early reports suggesting they were at odds. To him, it felt like a blindsiding move, describing it as some slick stuff, but acknowledged that such situations are par for the course in their industry. Name a good N-word that didn't get stabbed in the back. That's why you a good N-word. Pause. You're not gonna do everything someone does. You're gonna let your guard down. The only people that can hurt you, because you don't let people next to you, are the people closest to you. The company started to hold meetings without Damon, leaving him uninformed of what was going on with the artists.
How y'all calling meetings without me, B? That's what I need to know. They come on, man. That's what I need to know. Just like I thought. Just like I thought. Then when my staff comes, y'all cancel meetings. Just having meetings about my artists without calling me?
Even those who Damon had considered to be his friends left him in the cold and joined hands with Jay-Z, such as young Chris from the Young Guns. According to Chris, Jay-Z pulled him and Freeway aside while they were on the road and dropped a bombshell. This expletive about to be over. Jay-Z was ready to move on and wanted them to join him on his next venture. I remember Dame was telling me to do a solo project. That's kind of why I went with Jay, you know? My loyalty to Neef Buck. We already did the first album and I'm a follow-up. You feel me? That was my situation. I think back on it sometimes, because I never looked at it as being the Bobby of the group. Dame was probably looking at the expletive, but we went with Jay, and we did what we did. Some people even blamed Damon for the way Jay had treated him, telling him it was his fault for not running the label properly. Beanie Siegel, once tipped to be a VP at Rockefeller, had a front row seat to the whole drama. He witnessed the unraveling firsthand and seemed to have no sympathy for Damon. According to him, things started going south when Damon Dash got too accustomed to the high-rolling lifestyle. Dame was living large, enjoying the success and the perks that came with it, but it also started to create tension. From conversations I had with Jay, when Dame started being famous, he fell victim to the camera. I think if Dame would have played the role as Kareem Biggs did and handled the business correctly, maybe Rockefeller would still be the force it was. Damon decided to go on a lot of trips with company money and rob Peter to pay Paul. Beanie believes that this shift in Dame's lifestyle was a major turning point. The lavish spending and the high life may have contributed to the cracks forming in the once solid partnership between Dame and Jay-Z. As Dame got more entangled in the glitz and glamour, the foundation of their empire began to shake. But Damon revealed the truth about the fallout and the ultimate betrayal by Jay-Z, and it had nothing to do with Damon's spending habits or any personal grudge. Dame has often called out execs he labels culture vultures, and among them, he specifically arraigned Lyor Cohen, then Def Jam president, and dubbed him the Puppet Master. He was the one moving the chess pieces across the board. It was like they have people that their job is to create beef so that they can monetize it. Pause. And they can't make any money or get any respect in their culture. That's why they're in our culture. Because the minute that they were allowed to be there, they would go. But they just can't. Never had a beef with Jay. Always with Lyor and his whole crew. He's the one that ruined Rockefeller. Now, Damon Dash, being the hustler that he is, didn't just sit back and watch. Alongside fellow co-founder Kareem Biggs Burke, Dash launched the Damon Dash Music Group in 2005. So what if Jay-Z took everything that Damon had helped him build? Damon was ready to start afresh, but his friends and former label mates stayed with Jay. This must have put Damon in a troubling position that was created by Jay because he wanted to be the only one benefiting from Rockefeller. Starting fresh doesn't mean Damon has refused to be petty. In fact, he makes sure he gets back at the rapper any chance he gets. Turns out, Damon is still seething with rage at the betrayal, and honestly, we can't blame him. In 2021, Dash stirred up major headlines by trying to auction off his stake in Jay-Z's iconic debut album, Reasonable Doubt, as an NFT. Yep, you heard that right, an NFT. Naturally, this didn't sit well with Jay-Z, who quickly filed a lawsuit to stop Dash in his tracks. After some legal back and forth, the two sides finally reached a settlement in June. The agreement was clear. Dash can't dispose of any property interest in Reasonable Doubt in the future. Essentially, no more NFT antics with this legendary album. But this little setback wouldn't demotivate Damon. He wants to be remembered as a fighter who never gave up, despite this injustice he had to face. You know, like Alexander the Great. You know, the one that lived longer. A conqueror. A person that fought wars for the ones that he loved. I don't want to be known as an actor or singer or entertainer. I want to be known as someone that rumbles. I like to fight. He says he's had a good life and has no regrets about his time at Rockefeller. His friends are also speaking up to support him. Now that ages have passed since the Rockefeller days, Damon has a lot of personal achievements to boast about, yet everyone keeps asking him about Jay-Z. Cameron says the only reason Damon has to keep talking about Jay-Z is because the media keeps asking him about the rapper. You get all these sound bites about Dame gotta stop talking about Jay-Z. He's always talking about Jay-Z. Why he talking about Jay-Z? You asked him about Jay-Z. He ain't just getting up there and talking about Jay-Z this and Jay-Z that. You ask him these questions so that when he answers, you can get the soundbite, and then it seems like he's just talking about N-word. History with Aaliyah. One of the main reasons why Jay had to stop working with Damon seems to be his behavior with the women around him. Allegedly, Jay-Z could never trust Damon, and Damon gave him plenty of reasons not to. In the midst of a heated rant, DJ Funkmaster Flex suggested that Damon Dash's wandering eyes were a major source of tension he had with Jay-Z and the other Rockefeller co-owners. Flex didn't hold back, implying that Dame's behavior was a violation of the unspoken code with friends. Damon had crossed this line and apparently lost all respect of the other men in the company. That was Jay-Z lady first. Dame did a snake move. Tell me I'm lying, you piece of expletive. That's why the ROC crumbled you, because you was touching Jay-Z chick. Remember the house in the Hamptons? Flex wasn't the only one with these shocking allegations against Damon and his bad behavior. Another former producer, Choke No Joke, also backed up Flex's claims, saying that it was known all over the label how Damon could not be trusted around with ladies. I mean, nothing happened like he kissed or s***ed her or something like that. Did he try to holler at her? Yeah. That's the same thing he did with Aaliyah. Aaliyah fell for it. Yunce wasn't gonna violate Jay like that. We all know there was a point at Rockefeller where Dame wasn't allowed around Beyonce. Everybody that worked there at that time knew because he was a creep. Jay-Z and Aaliyah were rumored to be dating in 1999 when they were 29 and 20, respectively. It was at that time that Aaliyah was a talented and promising young icon in the industry. She was the center of attention for everyone, and despite being linked with several men during that time, the R&B singer kept her love life private. Allegedly, Jay-Z had also pursed the singer hard, but she was soon won over by Dame Dash, a famous American entrepreneur. In this way, despite being involved with each other, the brief romance between Jay-Z and Aaliyah never materialized. I did not know Jay was trying to holler at her, but then it just happened like that. He was trying, I was trying, everybody was trying. He was going hard. In fact, everyone knew how much Jay-Z wanted to get with Aaliyah. He pursued her publicly and wanted her to be with him no matter what. Damon recalls the time when everyone in the industry was crazy about Aaliyah. I just threw my A game. And then, I guess Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. It got brought up and I was like, effing both of y'all. But it never worked out for them, and we were both trying to get at her. And I kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other. It's a long story. Jay-Z was apparently openly courting her and sending her flowers in order to woo her. Everyone knew the extent of Jay-Z's feelings for Aaliyah. Yeah, he felt away, but everybody knows that expletive. They be trying to act like he was really effing with her. Nah, he was sending flowers and doing all that expletive. He was courting her. But soon, Aaliyah died mysteriously, and Jay-Z's affections were replaced quickly and conveniently with none other than Aaliyah's competition, Beyonce. Since then, the bond between Beyonce and Jay-Z seems unbreakable, and it looks like Aaliyah has long been forgotten. You might be wondering why Damon blames Jay-Z for Aaliyah's death. After all, Jay-Z was out of the picture after Aaliyah decided to ditch him for Damon. But turns out, that's not entirely true. Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce had a lot to do with Aaliyah after all. At the onset of her career, Beyonce found herself up against another formidable talent, the charismatic and immensely popular Aaliyah. Aaliyah was a star in every sense. Charming, graceful, and a true powerhouse in the music scene. She quickly rose to prominence, carving out a place as one of the industry's brightest stars. Many believe she was destined to become one of the greatest superstars the world had ever seen. However, tragedy struck in 2001 when Aaliyah's Cessna aircraft crashed, claiming her life and the lives of 8 others. This devastating event marked the abrupt end of Aaliyah's promising career and left fans mourning the loss of a beloved icon. Among the theories circulating is one that says Jay-Z and Beyoncé in Aaliyah's untimely demise. Some people think that Beyoncé, who was emerging as a rising star herself at the time, stood to benefit the most from Aaliyah's absence. Now, looking back, Damon realized Jay and him could never work together as they did not have the same moral values. Looks like their trouble over Aaliyah is still the major point of contention between the two men, as Damon talked about Jay and said, "If you remember the best of both worlds, you don't see my name on that. I never wanted no part of that. I know I'm not f***ing with that. I knew, morally, we weren't the same. So, to me, Rockefeller was defunct. It was over. I couldn't effing with it. It was something that, to me, I don't want to say unforgivable, but I couldn't understand it." After Damon Dash pledged to donate his share of the proceeds from the Fiesta music video to a breast cancer charity supported by Aaliyah, it seemed like a noble gesture. However, things took a turn when fellow Marcy Projects, native and Rockefeller artist Memphis Bleak publicly challenged Dash's claim of moral integrity. "Everyone knows I effing with Dame Dash. This is my guy, Rockefeller history, but somebody gotta tell him, he's bugging, you bugging. And then you gonna really say, you wasn't there within word, you was opposed to it? You lying." It's clear that the animosity between them has intensified over time. Jay-Z, now a billionaire, seems to have moved on from his Rockefeller days, leaving Damon Dash in the shadows of the hip-hop hierarchy. While Jay enjoys the fruits of his success, Dash feels the weight of their fallout, still grappling with its impact on his life. Recently, Dash made headlines when he decided to extend an olive branch, apologizing to Jay-Z and others in the industry earlier this year. But here's the twist. His remarks to Ebony magazine were laced with an unmistakable air of bitterness and resentment. After all, it must be hard for him seeing how Jay-Z has gone on to become a billionaire, and Damon has still to reach the same level of success as he once did with Rockefeller. "I don't have beef with anybody. Pause. I'm working past it. So, Jay-Z, if I offended you, I apologize. Liar Cohen, if I offended you, I apologize. Just because you don't have the same morals and principles, it's cool. I'm not angry with you no more. I did what I had to do. I was a little aggravated about Aaliyah, so y'all just caught the brunt end of it. It was therapy." A chance of reconciliation. When asked what he felt about Jay-Z now, Damon said he felt nothing.
How do you feel towards Jay-Z now?
I don't feel nothing.
No bad feelings, no good feelings?
No feelings.
Now that ages have passed between the two ex-friends, looks like it's time the two mended their relationship and became friendly again. Apparently, it's already happening. Looks like Damon Dash and Jay-Z crossed paths again at a birthday bash for Rockefeller veteran Chaka Pilgrim. And guess what? They actually posed for a photo together. Who actually approached the other first remains a mystery, but there is some improvement in the relationship after all. There didn't seem to be a clear-cut this person approached this person introduction, but rather the happenstance that the two once best friends ended up in each other's space. Once Jay and Dame interacted, things seemed to smooth out. It was good to see them speaking. Jay has nothing but good words for Damon. After all, he has it all and has no reason to be bitter with his former business partner. "It's a reflection of my mentality 23 years ago. I'm not so happy about how things rolled out, but for what we did when we were younger, it was great. It was beyond dope." He even brought up Dame in an award show during his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acceptance speech in November 2021. "Shout out to Dame. I know we don't see eye to eye, but I can never erase your accomplishments. And I appreciate you and thank you for that." That's it from our side for now. If you enjoyed this video, click on the links on your screen to watch more.